Hi, I'm Brad with Gigabyte Grove, and on today's video, we're going to talk about amateur weather and how you can collect data for yourself from your home with either no investment or little investment. So stick around, we're going to have a great video today.
Gigabyte Grove, where the future stands. Gigabyte Grove, where the data flows. Living off the grid, but the Wi-Fi's closed. Sustainable dreams in a connected scene. Innovation blooms in the southern breeze.
All right, so a little bit of a disclaimer on this video. You don't actually have to buy anything to get into amateur weather radio. You don't need a license. You don't need to purchase any equipment. If you have an old satellite dish at home and an RTL SDR or a few other things, you can easily accomplish any of the stuff that we have here at Gigabyte Grove. And if you're interested in me expanding out into how we did it here at the Grove, let me know and maybe I'll make a future video with our instructions on how to install them or set them up, configure them, so on and so forth. So let's jump into our first piece of equipment, which is going to end up being our weather station. All right, so the first piece of equipment that we are highlighting today is going to be our weather station. Now, we have two weather stations. We have this one here, which is our primary, and then we have another module, which is actually sitting over here. That's just an observation module that doesn't interact with this at all. It actually interacts with a device that's in the house, separate from this weather station. This one over here just does temperature, humidity, and barometric readings. But this one here is a normal weather station. It does UV index, temperature, barometer, humidity. We've got wind speed, direction. I think I said UV index, but if I didn't, it does that. It also does a few other things that you can do as well. And then I've also got another device that's not part of this weather station itself that I don't actually have hooked up here, and it's actually illegal for me to hook it up here because it emits a signal, and the military base wouldn't be too happy with it. Now, even though it does comply with Part 15 of the FCC's rules, I can't use it here because any transmission signal that's not within the amateur ham band is prohibited by the military base through our local zoning laws. So that's unfortunate. I can't really hook that up, but what it does do is it provides us kind of like a Doppler radar thing. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to worry about that today. That's a system that I had built over kind of years of testing and screwing around and messing around, and it has varied success. It is definitely not foolproof or fail-safe. It half works, and when it does work, it doesn't work very well, but that's fine. This is our primary weather station. This gets a lot of the observations that you find from Gigabyte Grove on things like Weather Underground, ambient weather networks, or AccuWeather. And this actually reports out to NOAA and to the National Weather Service. It's KGAVALDO99. So KValdo 99 is this weather station right here. KValdo 100 is actually that weather station, which again reports out to the device that's actually in our mechanical room in the house. So I like this weather station. I did want to do a review on the weather station, but with how I guess crucial it is to some of the stuff that we do here at Gigabyte Grove, I didn't really want to bring the weather station down and have to worry about what are we missing, what data are we missing, so on and so forth. So I think at some point I'm going to end up doing some maintenance on this. I might put it on a longer pole, but I'm going to do some maintenance on this, and I think when I do that, I might end up making that KValdo 99 and taking 100 off, and then doing the thing with the stuff in the video review.
Advanced technical terms such as the thing and the stuff should only be used by trained professionals. Do not attempt to use them without adult supervision.
So this is an ambient weather systems. I think it's a 2000 IP 2000, or that might be the base station that's actually connecting this to the internet. But this is a WS 2000 from Ambient Systems. It works really, really well. There's a few things that it's kind of missing. I wish it had. Lightning detection would be a great one, but they do make a module that you can put, that you can connect to this and to the weather hub module that actually comes with it, that comes with it, or connects it to the internet. And it's pretty great. Some of the other stuff that it comes with, we have a pool here on the Grove. I could actually put a sensor in there, and it would capture information about the pool, like the chlorine level, the pH, all that stuff, and it would capture it and put it in with my weather station data. But that's not really. I'm more looking for that, like, kind of in home assistant. I think there's a jet flying over us. I can hear them. So I should probably wrap this part about the weather station up so that they're not interrupting it, because I don't want to have to do another take of this. Anyway, so I really like this. I'll do a close-up of this, either in this video or while I'm talking or in a future video. But I definitely want to do a review on this, and for the price that I paid, which I believe was only like 130 bucks, solid unit, never had any problems with it. As long as you take care of it, you install it in a good location where it gets lots of sun, it's good. This has a solar panel on it that not only gets solar readings, so like your UV index and your solar radiance and all that, it charges the battery that's in it too. So that's solar powered. So that's really, really good. All right, so let's talk about some of the other stuff that keeps our weather systems here at Gigabyte Grove running. Now, this is the weather station. Here is the same weather station we've kind of just finished talking about. However, over here, you can actually see the other weather systems that we have. So on this pole, which you'll have to forgive me, I'm in the process of trying to get this massive thing onto that wooden pole. And it's a two-person job, and I'm only one person, so I don't have a second person to kind of help me hoist that up there at the moment. So it's a work in progress, but for right now, it's kind of just tacked to the garage with some guy wires and supports, and it's actually doing all right. I mean, it's not bad. We're not going to worry about most of the antennas here, but we're going to talk about the ones up here at the top, this little box right here, and the circle antenna that's actually up there. So what those are the NOAA APT 137 megahertz FM receive antennas. So these are the NOAA 15, 16, and NOAA 15, 18, and 19 APT antennas. So they download a low resolution photo of the area that it passes over every 12 hours, every time one of those three satellites passes over, and they actually it does fairly well here, especially with how open it is. However, if you're interested in doing that, one thing that I will let you know is this is now a legacy technology, meaning that NOAA and the National Weather Service, while they may do some updates with these, it's no longer a fully supported platform that NOAA is taking care of. They'll try to fix what they can, but right now their big thing is their new NOAA satellites, so like NOAA 20, 21, and things like that, 19, 20, and 21. Those are their big ones that they're concerned about. But 137 megahertz, it's a FM signal. It comes down, or it's FM signal that comes down on 137 megahertz, and as it passes over, so we're looking at north-south here. I'm facing north, so as it comes over the camera and heads towards the south, what's going to end up happening? Well, this is technically northeast. But as it comes over the camera and comes down, this is going to start picking up that signal, and it's going to have the entire pass all the way down until the tree line of the horizon. So what that is, and this is, we're talking 500 miles up vertically. So, you know, if it could be over, you know, New York State or Canada, when it becomes visible by this antenna here. So I'm basically getting the entire eastern seaboard of the United States all the way down into, you know, the coasts of southern Florida, and probably, you know, some areas of the Caribbean. With how high up that satellite actually is, you can get a pretty good range with, you know, a clear sky. Not everybody's going to have amazing results with NOAA APT. Like I said, it uses an FM signal that is 500 miles in space, and it basically, it would be like trying to receive an FM signal of a radio station from 500 miles away. It's going to be very, very hard to do, even with line of sight. It's still going to be hard to do because of the curvature of the earth and blah, 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 blah. But that is something, if you can get it to work and have it work really, really well, it's something really, really cool. This is a great beginner thing to start with because of how easy it is to actually start to see results. You know, you may not get a perfect picture every single time or every single pass. You know, if it's directly overhead or off to one of the sides, you know, off to your east or off to your west, you generally get a pretty good result from it. However, if it's, you know, if you're talking, you're 30 miles off the side of the cone on N2YO, then you're probably not going to receive it very well. But I just threw out a bunch of jargon just now, and I know that no one has any idea unless you're an amateur meteorologist or you're in the hobby. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But basically, just know that it's something easy to start out with. You don't need much technology. You don't need this special antenna. You don't need this special box. A V-shaped antenna pointed out towards north is really all you need for it. And a $30 amplifier. It's called an LNA, a low noise amplifier, that is for the NOAA APT. I can put one, it's called a Sawbird, but I can put one kind of right here where my hands are. You can kind of see what I'm talking about, or up here. Maybe, I don't know how Andrew is going to end up editing it. We'll say it's going to be right here. Let's put it right here. Yep. NOAA APT Sawbird. It is a small little device that can be powered by your SDR if it actually supports it. So that's one of the benefits of having something like that. I have that on this system and on the next system we're going to talk about. So it's something that I do recommend, is getting an SDR that does support what's called BiST, which is remote power to an amplifier or other device that's further down your feed line. So with that being said, let's get over closer to the antenna stack, and we're going to talk about our next technology. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit more about the amateur stuff that you can get a hold of and doesn't really require a license or isn't too difficult to kind of get your hands on. We talked about the weather station. That was $150 all in, and it works great. If you don't want to spend that money, the NOAA stuff kind of gets you there. A little bit more of a legwork to get done, but it's a significantly less of a cost, maybe about $60, and that's if you don't already have an SDR or, you know, one of the old rabbit ear antennas on hand. You'd have to buy those, but even if you bought them, we're talking maybe $60. So very low bar for those two things to start your own amateur reporting or receiving of weather maps. So the last technology that we're moving on to is GOES. or geostationary satellites. So here at Gigabyte Grove, we actually received 2 of them. We received GOES 19, which recently replaced GOES East. GOES 16 moved into the orbit for GOES 16, and GOES 16 is now being retired as a backup satellite. So GOES 19, we're receiving HRIT or HRIT, which is high resolution imagery from a stationary satellite that is, I think it was 22,000 miles outside of the orbit of the United States, out of the Earth, and that's this satellite right here on top of the roof. That's actually aimed at GOES 19, and we receive all kinds of imagery. I'm going to move off to the side here so that I can have some of the images actually superimposed here, or some of the videos. It is insane, some of the stuff that we can receive. You receive the images themselves, and then, or you receive the blank data itself, and the system goes through, and SatDump is the name of the software that we actually use, and it goes through and it parses, or it processes all of that data, and it turns it into usable weather maps. And then the more you download, the longer of a processed map you actually get to look at. So it's actually really, really cool that you can do something like that with such limited technology. Now, I bought the dish and I bought the contents of the box. You don't actually need any of that. I bought that dish for $100. It's literally a parabolic Wi-Fi antenna made for point-to-point links. So if you have something like, I don't know if you guys can see it, where is it on my screen here? It's right here in the corner. If you can see that little white dish, that actually feeds internet out to our workshop in the very, very back, the pole barn, or it feeds Wi-Fi signals out there, so we have Ethernet lines if we need them. But even something like that, as long as you have something that is a parabolic dish and you can aim it, maybe not that small, maybe a little bit bigger. You would need something about this size or about the size of this HughesNet that's over here. And you can download these. Realistically, I mean, it's like, 1.69 something gigahertz. And you can download those relatively easily. Now, the HughesNet dish, let's talk about that really quick. We actually have both GOES 19 and GOES 18 being received here from Gigabyte Grove. Now, they're doing relatively the same thing. We're receiving relatively the same data from both of them. However, if our GOES 18 or GOES 19 link were to go down, we can automatically pick up the same data from GOES 18 because they're basically sending the same data down to Earth, and up in space they share data between each other. So it doesn't matter what satellite you're connected to, you're pretty much receiving the same thing. So from GOES 19 we can get the Himawari, or I think I'm pronouncing that correct, which is from Japan. We can get Meteosat, which is the European Union's weather satellites, and we can get the GOES East and GOES West, GOES 18 and 19 respectively. We can get those from here as well. And it's that way pretty much everywhere. So having 2 of these here is really a beneficial thing, but really all you need is a satellite dish. So a HughesNet, or even like the old oblong dish network, or DirecTV. I've seen those dishes get used as well and have great success. The only difference is you have to create your own LNB, or oh my gosh, I can't even think, your line, your feed horn. We talked about feed horns in a previous video. I think it was the Kraken SDR video. But the focal point of your dish, you have to create that out of a can or something like that. And you can do it pretty much for free. There's 1,000 videos on how to create something like that. If you guys want to deep dive in to how we actually did this, or how we set this up, or even how Caleb and I built the GoesNet dish, let me know. Or the HughesNet dish. I call it the GoesNet dish because it's a HughesNet dish that actually received goes. Inside the LNB, we kind of hollowed that out, put a bunch of equipment in there, and the only thing that actually feeds that dish is an Ethernet cable. Everything else is built into the actual LNB, the old LNB. So it's actually pretty genius that we came up with that ourselves. That was one of the projects that we did over the winter while we were kind of waiting for you know, it to kind of warm up, get a little bit nicer outside so we could do some of the gardening stuff. He was helping Dad with technology out in the garage. So if you want a video on how we did this one here on the roof, let me know, and that will be one of the next in this series. I do want to do a video on that dish and how we made a custom one, because I'm sure I'm not the only person that doesn't want to use this. You have to, I will say this, you absolutely have to have the Sawbird with this technology. You cannot get around it. You have to have it. Those signals are so faint by the time they reach that dish that they will be unusable if you do not use a Sawbird LNA or an LNA specifically rated for 1.6 gigahertz. And then last but not least, something that 40,000 plus people have enjoyed. At the top of this poll, you'll actually see our Earth Cam, which cost us the price of that camera, which for us was actually free. Thank you to Railink for sending us that camera to test out. That's actually the Bullet, what is it? The RLC 510 Alpha that we featured in a previous video is actually up there doing the Earth Cam. I actually bought the little thing it's mounted to. That was like $8 on Amazon. So I'm not even including that into setting up kind of an observation camera. But if that's something you're interested in doing, go buy a camera, set it up, put it on Earth Cam. You're contributing more than you think you are, because as long as it's available, amateur meteorologists can actually go through and see the conditions in your area compared to the places that they're observing. They can visually see your area compared to what they're observing from sensors and computer systems. The best thing that I ever did for this was actually move it and aim it up. So now you can actually get a better look at the sky. Not only can you see the sky better, but if you catch it at just the right time, you can actually see the A-10s flying over as well. So it actually is really, really cool. That's going to do it for today's video. Make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Share with us down below what maybe you're monitoring at your homestead or property that maybe we're not monitoring, or some of the ideas that we have that maybe you plan on implementing. Engage with us down below. Let us know what you are interested in doing. GigabyteGrove.com is our website. Check out the merch store. All of the proceeds from that actually go to help fund projects here at the Grove. We got a greenhouse that we're working on right now that's over here just off camera. I am going to be working on that this upcoming week now that this video is going out. Jen's got another review that's coming out in June, or not review, but another tour, garden tour, progress update of her garden for 2025. That's coming out in June. I'm going to do some more videos on amateur weather. I'm going to try to see if I can get a video out on the weather station itself. And there's a few other things that we want to talk about. Caleb wants to do a video, a couple of reviews on some of the things that he likes, and we'll put that on the channel as well. Make sure that you share this video with anyone that's interested in homesteading, and we will see you guys around the Grove. Bye-bye.